Hello and welcome to another episode of the Leaders Dojo. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining me. My guest is not on yet, so it's still me at the moment. Thank you for joining me tonight. And wherever you are, tell us where you're joining us from so that we can say hi to you. Feel free to drop in your comments or questions anytime during the show. As you know, this show is not about being formal, being interview, but it's more about learning together, right? We want to learn from our guests. We want to learn from you, right? You have insights to share, and sometimes your questions are really insightful, and it helps us to think as well, right? So tell us where you're coming from, tell us where you're tuning in from, and let's so that we can say hi to you. And tonight we have a really special show. With me tonight is Harith Rizwan, the Green Carpenter. He was one of the very, very early connections I made on LinkedIn, and I've always admired him, and I've always wanted to have him on the show. And I'm very glad that he is with me tonight on the Leaders Dojo Change Maker series. Indeed, what I admire about him is his change. The change making that he's doing now, right? Having green carpentry, uh, taking woodworking to a level where you can actually have zero waste. All your all your materials are used, reused, upcycled, and made into different things. So that you have zero waste. And he's not just looking at materials; he's looking at all the processes to turn the entire business and completely sustainable. All right. So without further ado, let me just introduce myself. Okay, here we go. Technical issues again. Hi, Melissa. Thank you for joining in. There we go. This is what I'm looking for, but it's not on screen yet. Oh my goodness. There we go. All right, so a little bit about myself. For those of you who don't know me very well, my name is Chee-Seng, and I'm a writer, I'm a content trainer, and I'm a thought leaders coach. Right, so I've been a writer for almost 25 years, and a content trainer for the past 2 years, and soon to be launched. I'm creating my own coaching program for aspiring thought leaders. So if you are an aspiring thought leader, well, watch this space. And I just want to introduce a little bit about this show, the Leaders Dojo. This is a show where we talk about real issues, and we want to get real insights, from our guests. So make the full use of the time that we have together. Ask as many questions as you want, and just share with us whatever that's on your mind, and let's have a conversation together. And this is really a show where we want to talk about uh, making change, right? In this world that's so complex, so fast moving, we need to be able to change very fast. And part of the way is to integrate leadership, communication, and branding. And that's really where I come from, because I'm part of a training outfit called Communications Leadership Academy with a few of my friends here. And we have the same thinking, right? Communication, leadership, branding can no longer be siloed, right? It has to be tightly integrated now. You cannot have authentic branding without good communication. You cannot have authentic branding without culture, and that comes from good leadership, right? And so that's what this show is all about. We want to talk about the changes we're seeing in this world. How are we going to manage those changes through communication, leadership, and branding in an integrated way? And as I promised tonight, Harith Rizwan, the Green Carpenter, he's going to be with us. He has been he has taken over his family business, taken over running his family business for a number of years now. But, he's had this vision to really take it to the next level, something that I think not many people would imagine. A woodworking business, if you know the business, it has a lot of waste, especially sawdust and things like that, bits and pieces here and there. But he has set himself a very, very ambitious goal, which is to be completely sustainable, zero waste. I think I want to ask him a lot about zero waste. I can't imagine how that's going to go, right? So before I bring him on, let me just put this on. Hi, Harith.
Hello.
Thank you for joining me tonight. And I know we've been working on this scheduling thing for a couple of months now. Finally, Harith is here. Okay, so say hi to everyone, Harith, and everyone say hi to Harith. Yep, I can see some people are here.
Thank you for having me, Chee-Seng.
Yeah,
And
very.
hi
I'm
to
very
everyone.
honored, actually, Harith. I mean, if you have read the news, Harith, been
Hmm.
a lot of publications. You on Tetler also, right?
Lah,
Uh,
they wanna give, I take lah.
Wait, people who go on Tetler is next level already. Okay, no such thing as they give you take. I don't go on Tetler. No, nobody from Tetler coming to look for me.
Not yet. Mindset.
Betul. I better start positive thinking.
Ah,
Okay, let's say hi to a few people. Melissa, hello
hi Melissa.
from Tropicana. I work
Thank
with
you for
Melissa.
spending your precious Tuesday nights with us.
Yeah, exactly, right. And Yo Chi Min, wow,
Hi,
I I
from
I
Singapore.
really thank you, brother. You are here every
Thank you,
show.
thank you very much. Wow, every show. Very
Yes,
supportive. Are you good?
yes. And hi, and from Singapore. Also, thank you for joining us all the way.
Hi, Anne.
And Rizal, haha, another live show host. He's got a great show, right? LOL.
Hi,
And
Rizal.
yeah, and he talks about leadership as well. Very interesting show. Thank you for joining and sharing your fame with me as well. On me a bit lah. Okay, so Harith,
Yes.
before we start, I always forget. Let me remind everyone that if you have a question or comment, do feel free to drop it into the comment box. Right, we're here to have a conversation. We're not here to have an interview or a lecture session. Right, I would love to hear from you. So don't be shy. Yeah. Okay, so Harith, maybe you can start by telling us a little bit about yourself.
Uh, Hi, everyone. I'm Harith. I'm also known as the Green Carpenter, and I run the Green Factory. Um, in 1993, my parents founded the family business. So that is like 29 years ago. And since young, I will always go to the factory during school holiday. So people go holiday, I have to go work lah, basically. So it's like it's in Sungai Buloh and we live in KL. So it took us around 45 minutes, 1 hour. So it's a long drive lah. It was annoying lah. But like you get to see the views. You see like skyscraper and then green and green, and then you get to hear the sound kan, like from busy to like really slow. So it's, I
Mm.
think those are one of the early experience that I have growing up in. So I'm in a way like I didn't really like the experience, but I enjoy the time lah. And when I
Did
remember,
you actually have to work at the factory, or you just go
yeah, I
and
have
look
to lah.
around? Oh,
Sometimes I
really? Ah?
do play around, but then like most of the time I have to do work lah. I got paid lah.
Oh gosh. I was just gonna say my daughter can identify with you because we take her to our education center, but she
Hmm.
doesn't get paid lah. We pay her with lunch and dinner.
It's okay. Mine is very minimal, cukup syarat je. But yeah, so I grew up in the industry, And then like after I finished my study, I came back to Malaysia and joined the family business. So this is in 2008. So
2008.
2008. So that is when I start working officially lah and professionally, right? Before this
So
is like
your first job
still
was your
my
family
mind.
business.
Yeah. So I've worked few jobs before,
Mm.
but like all family business as well. Meaning like we like FME, we have a cafe. We used to, and then so we would run the cafe, and then we have like the furniture. So we have few jobs that available for me to try
Okay.
out. So then I look into the industry, and then I learn more about the industry. She's saying there's an echo.
Oh, okay.
Hmm. Yeah, much better. Sorry, yeah. Okay, so I came back, go into the industry, and see about the wood industry. Fun facts: Malaysia have one of the largest wood industry in the world. Malaysia is a top 10 manufacturer of furniture in the world. So our wood industry is one of the largest in the world, but we are always known to not be sustainable in general. Malaysia produce good quality products, but sometimes it's the Western perspective of Malaysia at that time wasn't that good lah. So that is
Mm.
when I myself experienced the like for example the waste problem. We have so much like waste,
Mm.
and because we also do large scale projects. So when we do large scale project like 20 floors,
Oh, wow.
100 rooms ke interior work, um, so we do interior work as well. So our
Okay.
interior business is actually our main business. So the woodworking is the products that we
Production now.
open market and export lah.
But what made you choose carpentry since you have like a number of choices? Because I think young people the glamour one will be cafe lah. Why did you go into the woodworking? I
I
mean,
think
even
it's,
retailing of furniture will be more glamour than woodworking lah, right?
so I think it's one of the more successful business that we have. So or the one that survive because we like make business and then like a close shop and then do business and then all those things lah. Yeah, so it's an interesting journey lah. So
Hmm.
when I have
So, so your parents' factory, what was it called originally? You changed the name to Green Factory, or was it always called Green Factory? Ah, yeah, Green Carpentry.
the company itself is called One Tech Malaysia Siam Berhad.
Hmm.
So it's still is right now. So the Green Factory is just the branding that we use lah.
I
So in all
see.
our product or the way we do our official macam collaboration ke media ke education. So we it's like a yalah like a brand lah, the mother brand, and then we have like smaller brands down there as well.
Hmm. Okay. So my next question to you is why did you choose to go into green manufacturing, especially as you mentioned? Because I'm not into woodworking and manufacturing, but I took woodworking last time in the Kemahiran Hidup.
It's fun,
So
right?
I know lah. Once my school had a workshop, so we had to build a tower rack. And I know lah, the sanding, the cutting, everything. Wow, there's a lot of material just for that one small piece of item, right? And I think everybody just takes it for granted lah, right? When we were doing it, we didn't think, we just sweep it and throw lah. We didn't think about it. So what made you want to venture into green carpentry?
Okay. Since you're talking about just now, right? I just want to touch a
Mm.
little bit. Like if you see a furniture or a piece lah by us ke apa, wood products, do you know that it takes like I think more than it will already go to more than 20 hands?
One
Meaning
piece.
one piece. So like no, for the people that cut, maybe ada one or two people. The three they have to knee. The lorry packer move to the knee, and then the one that cuts it, the one that shape it, the one that sand it, the one that oil it. These are all different people tau in a
Mm.
manufacturing setting. So
Mm.
jadi like sometimes you don't think about it, but actually all the things around us are made with a lot of labor, which we tak
Mm.
nampak, right? So I
Right,
think
right,
that
right.
is one of the things that interests me in terms of making things, because these are the things that is it's real, but it's it's something that is needed. Like
Mm.
you need to see it, right? So it's you need to a table so you can do work, or you
Mm.
need things, right? So
Yeah.
if we cannot help to consume things, because we need that is one of our narrative as human. We have to
Mm.
eat, we have to work, we have to do something. But what we can try to do is, if we consume, but then it also contributes to making the world better. So it's like
Mm.
you don't have to change anything. You just change, like buying a table, the same table from a sustainable from a normal, not really sustainable to a sustainable. It's just changing your decision at that one time, but it affects everything, the ripple effects. So I
Mm.
think that is one of the things. Like right now I am trying to, because right now after a few years of doing sustainability, I think we've done it more than 10 years. uh we we found out that it's such a big punya agenda, and we benefit from it, not just about saving the environment ke apa ke. It's actually benefit the business.
Mm.
So like it create competitive advantage for the company.
Mm.
So like for example, like one of the things that you mentioned just now, zero waste manufacturing, right?
Mm.
So so that is one of the things that we are moving towards. Our waste used to be around 30%, but now
Right.
it's around 5%. This is rough, of course dia
Right.
akan lain-lain, but within these 2 years, 1 or 2 years, we are looking to get it to zero. So
Right.
how we do it is the wood that excess wood normally other manufacturer throw away, will make into products. And
Mm.
just by wanting to reduce our waste, we actually increase revenue for the company. And
Right.
I think later we will touch about one of the example lagi lah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Remind me
But
ah
I'm
the
very
one.
curious when you
Ah,
say zero. I mean, zero waste. Sometimes in legal definition, there's some tolerance, lah, right? It's not like
correct.
zero zero. So is your zero really zero, or is there some tolerance to it?
I think the zero will need to be at zero lah. Need to. So that's why sometimes you can never get to zero. But the
Mm.
fact that you are trying to move towards it, it makes
Mm.
the innovation goes that way as well.
Mm.
Like for us, we are
Yeah.
trying to solve those kind of things, and like slowly, like pieces by pieces, it's like interlocking. That's why it's an interesting. It's science,
Right.
right?
Right. But like even like those like wood chips, sawdust.
Hmm.
Are you going to like upcycle those as well?
Currently, we don't throw them away. Currently, we either use it in our nursery. We have a plant nursery, a garden,
Wow.
and then a small garden lah. But then like we use it, and then people use it. We sell as well to people that use it for like horse bedding, chicken bedding.
Right.
Sometimes chemical companies for spillage, they need to clean it up. They use
Right.
sawdust. So there's a lot of usage. So that's why you can, rather than throw away, there are value to it. You can still uh, recover as much material as you can, right?
Yeah, and that actually leads very nicely to my next question. Actually, is sustainable business practices important? Um, I know you touched a bit on it, but a couple of years back, I actually wrote a white paper about sustainability, but this was for the electronics industry. And I remember because the ecosystem is created in such a way that um, we are always talking about planned obsolescence, disposability, and things like that, right? So the ecosystem is created to have this kind of function. So for them to think about, okay, now the disposability is creating environmental problems, right? It's serious environmental problems, poisoning rivers and things like that. And then it becomes a huge extra cost to try and think about bringing sustainability into the practices. So what do you say to that, right? I mean, on one hand it's important, on the other hand,
I think this question is a bit biased to me. Of course, I would say yes, but we're gonna talk about it lah. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So this is a problem that has been accumulatively been doing for like a very long time, and then now we are feeling the the pinch, right?
Mm,
So right now, after I think during the pandemic also changed a little bit more perception of climate change and those kind of thing, and we do see more interest in sustainable products, sustainability in general. And in Malaysia right now, we are seeing sustainability is like everyone is talking about it, right?
mm,
Every banks are talking about it, oil and
mm,
gas, everyone is talking about it. But um, this has been like a thing for the very longest time. It's not really a new issue, but I
mm,
think because of the pandemic, it highlights as well these kind of things. So right now, the consensus is if you are not gonna be practicing sustainability, eventually you will be phased out. It's like
mm,
digitalization.
mm,
If you don't have a digital present, eventually you will phase out lah. You become less relevant.
mm.
So whether it's a trend, whether you want to believe it or not, or whether it's you feel like it's just an agenda or something, it's happening.
Right.
It's not predicting. It's already happened.
That's right. That's right. It's part
Like
of the reporting of all these listed companies already, right? ESG and sustainability.
so that's why a lot of my customer right now, we have B2C customers. We also have B2B customers. So my
Mm,
B2B business is actually the one that is a lot bigger because right now corporates are actually looking into this kind of solutions because of
mm,
those they need to comply with certain regulation. So we've been doing a lot of um, projects and products for corporates, and it's a growing trend,
mm,
especially in the listed company or the bigger ones lah. But
mm,
within these few years, we're going to see it trickle down to SME.
mm,
Consumer will have more increase. They want to have that. So it's eventually will move towards that. So that's why right now we do have enough knowledge to continue our business, but in a
mm,
way that contributes to the positivity of the future.
mm.
So that
Tell
is
us
the
about
idea.
your efforts to ensure that your value chain, right, is sustainable, because I know that is difficult, because your clients are making sure their value chain is sustainable, right? So it trickles down to you. So how are you managing that?
So the problem with sustainability all over the world is about the chain. So
Mm,
this is a very important topic when we talk about sustainability. Yeah. For example, like if I'm a manufacturer and then I need material, I'm not making material, so I need material from someone. So I need
yep.
from a supplier. So the supplier, where do they get their supply? Can I control that? Before this, you don't really care. For
Mm,
this, I just want this one, this spec, you just send to me, right? Right now, I want to know like where do you get this tree from?
mm,
Now, like we are a PFC certified company. So PEFC is a European standards that states that our wood comes from sustainable sources. So we are
Right.
audited every year. This is an international standard that we have to comply. So one of the things that we have to do is the traceability. So that is something that we need to adhere to, which is the chain. So we need to make sure,
Mm.
uh, uh, for example, if I'm the manufacturer, I'm certified, right? So I need to take from a certified sawmiller. So sawmiller pun needs to be audited and certified, and then
Mm.
they need to take the wood from a certified forest. Okay, so
Right.
forests there are different types, but normally right now 50 or more than 50% of our country is covered by forests. The but 30% are certified. So
Mm.
certified meaning like they take care of all, they follow international spec ah. Like
Mm. Mm.
selective cutting, you cannot cut all at one go. You have to replant, you have to all
Mm.
those things lah. They are
Mm.
also audited. So if any of the chain is broken, we cannot claim the product is PFC certified.
Right. Okay. So
Yeah.
but in any business, the supply chain is very long lah. So all along that supply chain, you have to ensure like all are audited and certified.
Hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
so that is where the chain lah. When you talk about chain, is about that's why sometimes I also have limitation. For example, I can use other material like recycle plastic ke bamboo ke apa, but then I don't have the supply chain for that, so I cannot
Mm.
go towards that. So that's why the conversation needs to we need to have this conversation, because one cannot do a lot of different things. You need everyone in the supply
Right.
chain to
Yeah. Yeah.
work together. So I don't have to think about it. I just think about what I need to think about.
Yeah. 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 I understand the difficulty because again back to that white paper. What people have found is in Europe, their supply chain is very pristine, right? But it's pristine because at some point in the supply chain, all the
It
junk
goes it
is
goes here.
sent to Asia, right? So Asia takes care of the rubbish. So the supply chain there is pristine. So and it is very difficult, right? It has to be a
It's very, very
global
difficult.
solution, right? You cannot keep your own supply chain pristine and then drop the problem in somebody else's backyard.
Correct, correct.
Okay,
So that's why
that's
this issue is it's a bit like you need a lot of stakeholder to talk, because each chain to have their own issues.
mm, yeah, yeah. And like when we buy organic food, normally the price is more expensive, right? Because compliance and things like that. So that will be my next question. But before I
Mm,
go to the next question, I need to say
mm,
this, right? I always
mm,
forget.
mm.
Uh, Click subscribe and share this great conversation with your friends. Right? I need to promote the show. Help me to promote the show. Seriously, we're having great conversations with fantastic people. So do click subscribe if you're on YouTube or if you are on LinkedIn. I'm going to send you a link right now in the comment box where you can actually join the LinkedIn group that I've started to actually remind you that of upcoming shows of the Leaders Dojo shows that are coming up, right? So click on that and just uh, to get notified. If you're on YouTube, subscribe and share this conversation with your friends. Okay, so next question: how do you balance environmental and financial sustainability, right? Because definitely uh, compliance cost is can be quite a lot now.
Yeah. So I think people would generally think that to be sustainable, compliance is one thing, and I check up in sustainable in general. To
Mm,
be sustainable, it's expensive. Because people might thought like, oh, I need to install solar panel, I need to buy expensive machines, I need to buy material is expensive, those kind of things. So
mm,
like business, they don't like cost. So I
mm.
also don't like cost. So that's why a lot of businesses they tend to shy away because the thing is it's expensive. It is to a certain extent, but that there's a lot of ways you can do or you can practice that is beneficial in terms of um, financially to the business. It makes
Mm,
sense. For example, going paperless, like
mm,
it's sustainable and like it's digital, so it's like better than the traditional way. So that's why people can adopt, and it actually saves cost. You know how expensive is like ink printer or printing, like you in publication or like class time you have to print a lot juga kan.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's very expensive, right? So imagine you can cut all that cost, and then like it benefits you, and then you charge the same. No lah, I mean
Mm,
like this is the idea lah. So you become more efficient and efficient. So efficiency is also part of sustainability because you want to either use less input
mm,
um, to get more the same output, or same input to get more output. So
mm,
efficient, there is sustainability. So that's why we need to also see that as part of sustainability. So all the savings, the cost saving, the bulbs, all those that make sense. It's not expensive, but you are
mm,
doing something sustainable. So that is why we need to share or talk about this kind of thing, so that actually sebenarnya some of the companies already started doing, because I don't
mm,
know, because utilization ke apa ke, but it's actually the act of reducing our consumption.
mm. So it sounds like you can't just think of sustainability of, okay, here's one activity we need to do, here is one aspect we need to implement, but you need to think of the whole business, right? And how it functions all together. Am I right to say that?
Mm. So we've been doing it for quite some time. So
Hi, Hazwani.
I Hi, thank you for tuning in, Hazwani. Yeah,
Otherwise known
so
as E1. But we call you by the official name lah, Hazwani.
LinkedIn name, my
Yeah,
LinkedIn
yeah,
name.
yeah, yeah. Okay, sorry. Continue.
Just to show you another example, little bit
Mm,
on that. Like we want to reduce our waste, right? So we make products out of it. That was the first part of the story, and
mm,
then like one of the things that we make is a phone holder. So
mm. Yeah, I saw
this
this.
is
This is so interesting.
the infamous phone holder that some of the photo yang I selalu keluarkan lah. Because it's nice and it's useful. I use it every day, so I love it. So no, um, now it's one of our best seller. We've sold thousands of it. Corporates
Mm.
lah, corporates they will buy a lot, 1,500, and then so it becomes a new revenue stream. So it makes sense.
So all that
It
is
just
made from waste wood.
not anymore now. Now dah pasal pakai the new ones lah sebab many. But it
Mm.
started from there. So
Right,
that's
right.
why the other ways then we try to make lah other things, and then we see lah. So once in
Mm.
then we scale it up. So it's about research and design. So my factory, I design it so R&D factory. So we go to hundreds of designs, hundreds of processes, and then tu lah, because like what I say, after doing it so long, we've created a framework tau. So where we look at all the process that involved. We look at the glue that we use, the coating, the packaging, and the people that is involved. So the people that make, the community around the area, um, the government, media, school kids, semua those kind of things. So we try to make each process greener, and then each stakeholders to adopt sustainability in one way or another. So
Hmm.
that's why the whole thing is how the business is run based on
So so it's
that
it's it's a
principle.
totally new mindset now, right? Because I think a lot of people, uh, I mean, starting business very simple lah, right? This thing can make money. Let's start a business and do it, right? But if you're approaching from that point of view, then it's like everything must filter through what can make it better, more efficient, more sustainable, right? Then only you make a decision.
I think for us, because when the mindset shift, before this we are doing what everyone else is doing. There's nothing special about what we do. Like,
Mm,
we can make table, other people can make table.
mm,
um,
mm,
Hundreds. Our industry is one of the largest kot. So that is towards the world, and internal, you can imagine lah
mm,
how packed it is, right? The
mm,
industry. So by having moved to sustainability, we leap to a blue ocean. So that
mm,
is why we don't really sometimes focus on the price of our products, but
mm.
more on the value it brings.
Right.
So there's a
Do
lot of
you
things
find that
when we consider
do you
value
find
lah.
that your clients also you get a different level of clients as well, right? People who are willing to pay for more value.
Correct. So that is one of the things that I I I noticed that a lot of people are coming to us with a certain mindset, which is
Mm,
sometimes money is secondary, because
mm,
money is normally is what motivates people. But right now we have a lot of customer that have different motivation.
mm,
So I think that is where it differs, but at the same time we do cater to a wide range of customer base.
mm,
But we are seeing certain type that are our customer lah, and some that say our product is expensive. That is the majority. But then,
okay.
like, these are not our customers lah.
Right, right. But it's true lah because for me I do branding. Research has actually found that there are uh, at least a very large minority lah now that there are a large group of customers who are looking for purpose, who rather buy from purposeful businesses, right? So brands that they feel share their sense of purpose or share their sense of values, they will buy. They will prefer to buy from them, and if they can afford it, they will be willing to pay a premium, right? So that has been found lah from branding research. So yeah, so your experience has proven the point, right? So there are, it might
But
not be the majority, but definitely
uh,
is it's
but
enough to be noticed lah.
saying that, but one of the things that I wanted to do and promoting is making sustainable product affordable to the mass. Mean, like, to the mass lah, meaning not a niche.
Mm,
So that's why we are also moving towards getting products within, like, bawah under 50 ringgit, under 30
mm,
ringgit, so you can buy some of these things. Like, one of
mm,
it is, for example, when we make, like I say, the phone holder.
mm,
This is an offcut of a different product. So when you have an offcut, it's already paid for the material. So it's
mm,
just the workmanship. So the saving of
mm.
the material, even though this material is kayu balau. Kayu balau is actually, they
Oh,
like
very
kayu
good wood.
cengal.
Yeah.
It's like kayu
Yes.
cengal. They used to
Yep.
make our kampung houses, so it's very
Mm,
it's also very expensive. Lah. But
mm,
then, because you don't have to pay for the material, you can pass the saving to the customer. So that's
mm.
why right now we do have people buy our keychain, like our phone stand. We have a keychain that is also a phone stand,
Wow.
and so these are all made from our smaller things, and it we try to design things that make sense, or like something not always accessible in the market lah. So that's why a lot of customer, they come to us, because a lot of their suppliers cannot do.
Mm,
So because we have the skill set, so now that is one of the way we continue to, like, pioneer or strive in the market lah.
mm. That's really great, lah. Really fantastic to hear this. Okay, I want to ask, what are some of the challenges that you face? I
Yeah.
mean, it's definitely not all senang senang lah, right? The story is very
Yeah.
nice, but surely
Yeah, that's what people
very
want to
inspiring.
hear,
But
but
surely
they
there must be challenges.
they don't want to see. They want to hear before one, right? They don't know, like, now it's still before.
Yeah.
Like we are struggling. I mean, like we have challenge lah. Like I think like I've gone through enough, meet enough people and businesses to know that businesses small, micro, medium, large, super large, MNC, government, they all have problems.
Mm,
So it's all how we navigate it lah. So that is, I think, one of the things that sometimes we lack conversation, and we share the success, but the journey or the learnings. I think that is also important to share, which right now I'm trying to, I mean, like on LinkedIn,
mm.
content,
Maybe you
content.
tell us lah, what is the one
Challenge, oh, challenge.
challenge particularly that
Okay, okay,
sticks to
okay.
you lah.
I think one of it is um, when I did my first one of my first product brand, which is Dapo, the homeware and gift brand. So I use the word Dapo, and then at that time, when you talk about brandings and all that, they will use like English names or like
Mm,
Japanese name or something like that.
mm,
So
mm,
I'm just like, but I want to use Dapo because I feel like okay, I like it. It has meaning because my idea is not for the local market. It's mostly for
mm,
international. So for
mm,
international, I want them to know, okay, this is a Malay word for kitchen, and we do a
mm,
lot of kitchenware at that time. We do serving board, chopping board, this kind of thing. Um, so that's why I want to use that word. So I mean, like people say, well, why we when you use a Malay brand, it's not glamour at that time, ah. But now you see now everything everything is like millenniums apa semua good. So it's sometimes the things that we do are a bit earlier, but we are correct in a way that we stick with it.
mm,
So the challenge is sticking with it because no one has done it. So you always hear people say how to do it or how other people do it, but when you actually do it, it's very difficult and very different.
mm.
So I think
Yeah,
that is the challenge too is continuing until now because we always try to do different thing, and then
yeah,
we face different challenge, and then it's
yeah, yeah.
annoying if you do a standardized manufacturing like how other people are doing. They do the same products thousand times, millions of the same thing. For us, like every few days we do different thing, very different thing. So
Mm,
it's challenge in managing that lah.
right. Okay. Yeah, because you are in a process of innovating towards a new direction lah. So yeah, so I can understand what you're going through. But also for in terms of the Dapo brand, I agree with you lah. I mean, we need to. I mean, because I'm coming from a branding point of view lah. I think we need to be proud of our Malaysian brand lah, right? We can't be always like pretending to be on Mat Saleh, orang putih all the time. So good for you, man. Dapo. Next one, use some more, use some more Malay word.
We got a lot because we have like our products, for example, the brand is Apple, but we have products, our products name, they have their names.
Hmm.
So it's mostly Malay names. So those are the things that is interesting for us because it gives character to the product itself. It's not just a serial number only. It's
Yeah.
like because the way we do things is part machinery and then part human tau. So there's still a
Hmm.
lot of human punya touch to it. Macam to do the sanding, to do the oiling, to do the checking, blah 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 blah. So there's a lot of hands that is involved. So
Hmm.
it's in a way it's difficult to manage the system and the human. But it's interesting lah. But at the end too, you have something yang not easily replicable
Hmm.
um, or to ours to the standard that we have. For example, like the things that we do, other people can do. I mean, like craft people, but they cannot do at the scale that we do. They cannot produce like 2,000, 3,000 within a month like that. So that
Mm.
is their limitation. And for the larger company, if they want to do what I'm doing, they cannot, because the system is too big for them
Yeah.
to change to that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why we still have the competitive advantage there, but it's how we manage ourselves lah, and
Mm.
how we can always stay relevant. The thing is, because of internet, it's so difficult to get people attention and all that, right? You have to do so
Yeah.
many things. You have
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
do. I cakap
For
ni
you, no
based on me,
problem
eh.
lah. You getting a lot of
For me, we have
exposure.
to do
Settler sama.
LinkedIn. We have to do LinkedIn. We have to
Yeah.
do Facebook. We have to do Instagram. Now we are doing TikTok.
Mm.
I have to do live show. I have to like do so many things. But that is part of the journey right
Part of the
now.
journey. Correct.
It's
Correct.
not
Right.
a woodworking journey, but
Yeah, yeah, because
it's
and
other things.
that's why on this show we talk about leadership, communication, and branding, right? So you are in a position where you are leading your company somewhere, right? And possibly you're leading the industry somewhere, and nobody's gonna know unless you can do your branding well,
Correct,
right?
correct.
So that's why we talking about leadership, communication, branding is all integrated now, right?
Yeah, there is a
So
subject like a crazy subject that I, as a woodworker business person, need
uh,
to know and be savvy in it.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah. No choice lah.
No
Kalau
choice, right?
I mean, if you yourself cannot do it, then you got to hire somebody lah. I mean, there are many stories worth telling out in the world. Actually, this is very true. Many amazing stories worth telling. I've got a couple of friends. I want
Hmm.
them. I want to invite them later.
Hmm.
Um, Two of my friends off the top of my head. They started as floor staff, right? One in Giant, one in Giordano. Floor staff, bottom of the rank and file, right? One of them eventually, right now, I'm not sure exactly. A few years ago, as far as I know, she was director, um, one of the senior management, or even C minus one, that kind of level lah,
Nice.
right? The other one also started from Giant floor staff, management trainee,
Imagine the
became
climb. Imagine the
became
climb.
a regional GM for an international food company.
I think of their climb pun, I'm like, oh, how do they like strive?
Right, so these are the stories. And I'm hoping to bring them on the show lah. I mean,
Cool,
just
cool,
to
cool.
share their journey, right? Like as you say, like what's the drive? How did they get there? I mean, it's definitely. I mean, a lot of people nowadays graduate. You see lah, the horror stories are people asking for job. Like the entitlement and expectation is so high. So I think these stories are very important to tell lah, right? As like your story is very important to tell as well, and
What
that's
drives
just the
you,
world we,
Chee-Seng?
huh?
I want to ask you a question. What drives
Yeah,
you?
can.
What
I
drives
kena
you?
interview sekarang.
I asked what drives you?
Oh, what drives me? I am very driven by possibility, right? Um I'm very curious about things. I'm very curious. That's why I always, you see, this whole conversation is me asking you questions, and I'm not just asking you interview questions, right? You can feel I really want to know, right? I'm very curious. I'm very curious about what is happening. I'm very curious about where things go, right? And being curious about where things go, I'm very curious about what is possible. So that's why one of my favorite genre of book is science fiction, because science fiction always talks
Hmm.
about what is possible, what is in the future, what might happen, right? The best science fiction that I really love are the kind of science fiction that not like Star Wars, like like it's like creating cerita dongeng with laser lah, right? But the science fiction story that I really love is taking what is the trend now and tracing it to the future. That's why I
Like
love Black
pushing it,
Mirror.
pushing as far as they can, right?
Yes, yes. That's why I love Black Mirror. Black Mirror is near future, right? I like science fiction stories that push it to the far future also, right? Where will society evolve? Where will our mindset evolve? Where will our technology evolve? So things like that lah. So I'm very driven by possibility. In terms of business, I'm very curious. If I do this, what's going to happen? If I try this, what's going to happen, right? And that's why I like I like what I do, right? Writing, branding, content, thought leadership, because that's where I get to sort of play lah. I get to play. If I say it like this, if I strategize like this, right? How will the market respond? So for me, is really really is something I really enjoy, right? So for example, situation comes in, hey, I need to write this lah. Okay, I need to write a speech, for example, right? Who's the target audience? What do you want to achieve? Okay, I write the speech, and then okay, I want to see what the response is, right? What is the response of the person giving the speech? What is the response of the audience? The feedback for the speech, things like that lah. So very very driven by that lah. Hmm.
I think like I can relate with the curiousness. I'm
Yeah.
very curious person. That's why like the things that I do is a bit like leceh lah. So that's why not a lot of people do. Very mafan one.
But that's the thing, right? Yes, it's difficult because execution. Then you have to do it lah, right? You have to cari jalan. But the part of the fun is also like the vision, the dream, the possibility, right? Where can we take this? Where can we where if I start this, where will it go? I know the starting point, I know the finish point. The middle part is not the fun part lah.
Is there
That
a
one we have to
challenge
do.
lah. But I think like I recently pun I've like more into it's like the journey kind of thing.
Mm,
How you navigate the now. It's
yeah.
like my knee right now is the now. We always live either in the past or in the
Mm,
future, but the
mm.
now. So right now I'm
That's
trying
also very
to
valuable. Yes, that's also very
enjoy
valuable.
that journey lah.
Very true. I've learned also. I've learned that also in past few years lah. Last time I always have like living in the future, right?
Mm.
And never do anything in the present, or living in the past, never do anything present. But now I'm learning more and more lah, right? There has to be a starting point, there has to be an ending point, and then the middle is something we need to do. In order to make it enjoyable, just keep being curious lah, right? Oh, this thing didn't work. Why Okay, then we learn, right? Then okay, let's do something else then, right? So that's how I handle the middle part, which I don't really enjoy lah. I enjoy it by making it a learning journey, right?
Yeah,
So which
yeah, yeah.
satisfies my own curiosity as well lah.
So betul. I mean like reason why I do my live show pun to talk to
Mm,
people to like because normally this kind of people you cannot even employ them. So you cannot take training from them. Like you can
mm,
lah. For example like macam like a person that is the founder of a company something. You nak ada dia punya skill tu you have to learn, right? But then
mm.
like you cannot learn from him because dia takkan buat kelas. Tapi you have a
Yes.
conversation, then they talk that the things that they talk is like
Yeah, the
20 years of
gold falling out from their
experience.
mouth, right?
Like
Yes.
20 years of experience it's not rubbish. So when you get that few minutes of like 20 years, it's like overwhelming and it makes you feel like small. But I like that lah because like you see the possibility and the limitless that the things that we don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I, I,
Hmm.
I. Sometimes I feel small, but I try not to lah. So I, but it makes me feel very young. I do. I try not to feel small, but definitely I feel young lah. Like forever 17. It's like, banyak saya tak tahu ni belajar
Yeah,
budak
yeah,
budak
yeah.
baru belajar.
But then when you learn, it enriches you in a way that wow, you know a part that before this you don't know.
Yeah,
You only
correct,
see in the
correct.
surface, right?
Correct. Which is why I love doing this show, right? I mean, earlier you were asking me where I find the energy. This is the energy, right? Being together with people who think in a different way, who have the expertise, just having this conversation is really energizing, lah. Really energizing. The process of arranging the show, I don't like.
Promoting
But
the
once
show,
in the show, wow, I really love it, man.
promoting the show.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
once in the
So
show, really, I really enjoy lah. Really enjoy.
yeah.
So I like having this conversation with you. I'm really seriously appreciate it lah. Okay, we are
Hmm.
actually almost at the end of the show
Oh.
already. 9:27 now.
Hmm.
I think I better ask you this final question. Okay, what do you hope to achieve or change in the industry through your work? Your
Yeah.
aspirations.
So before this, when we do look into sustainability, it's all about us, ourselves, the company.
Mm,
And now, as I go through this journey, I see that it's more than just me. So that's why I took like what 9 years, 10 years to learn about
mm,
this. So
mm,
if I can share to as much people on their journey, when I started in 2012, I asked, I want to make green furniture, but
mm,
what is green furniture? I also don't know. At that time, it's like so foreign concept. I thought like material ke, kena letak, I put solar panels ke, like those kind of things lah. But after a while, there's online resource also very limited. Now you have so
mm,
many, and
mm,
now there's overload of information. So for me, I think like if I can fast track someone or company to learn what I'm doing within like 2 3 years, then they
mm,
save the knee. And then like for me, I cannot make 1 million tables. Ni I'm
mm,
cakap the same industry. I cannot make 1 million tables, but we need 1 million tables to be made in a sustainable way to have a positive impact. So that is
mm,
my motivation to share what I do.
mm,
But whatever learnings that I learn are also relevant to all manufacturing, all businesses, even our daily life. So that's why
mm,
when a few years ago I took up activism because I believe in something that can my vision lah to help Malaysia
mm,
become a more sustainable country. Um, so those things now are becoming more of a larger kind of movement where we talk to a lot of different type of businesses and see how we can help them solve their issues,
mm,
and find solutions that benefit both parties. So
mm,
it becomes more of a lot of collaboration, a lot of talking, sama macam through conversation with people, conversation with you, conversation with on LinkedIn. This
mm,
kind of conversation we want people to have, because one person might not have all the answer, and
mm.
one person don't have all the answer pun.
Yeah, betul.
Like for example, people asking me about face mask, what to
Mm,
do with them. I'm not an expert, so I cannot answer. But we need this kind of conversation lah. If 50 people
mm.
talk about it, a few of it will find solution.
Yeah,
So creating more of the conversation, and so those are the things that I'm doing right now, aside from doing a, a good business that have products that people love. Yeah.
yeah. I totally resonate with you lah, because this is what the Leaders Dojo is all about, right? I was sharing with you earlier. Leaders Dojo is really about starting conversations lah, right? About leadership, about culture, about branding, communications, and how these things relevant in our very very fast changing world. I mean, I don't know whether you noticed, but our world seems to be changing even faster after the pandemic, right? So yeah, and I feel, because I've been teaching in the teaching business for over 20 years.
Well, you
Over
see,
20
yeah.
years, you see the generations of
Wow.
new generations of children coming up. Culture has changed, right? Mindsets have changed, habits have changed, even social structure is changing, right? And the complaints now about the Gen Z, 25, 24 years old, coming out to work, I am totally not surprised, because they were my students 10 years ago.
You see them.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm totally not surprised. But the problem is, we cannot be complaining,
Hmm.
because we cannot don't employ this entire generation of
Betul?
people
Correct,
onwards,
correct,
right? They have to be employed. We have to employ them. We need the worker.
correct.
So how are we going to have this conversation about making it work, right? How are we going to lead this generation of people, communicate with this generation of people, right? To of course, I'm not just talking about them lah, right? We are orang
Us
tua, so
also,
need to change and
us
change our mindset
also,
lah.
us also cannot pakai one.
Yeah, so the whole conversation needs to happen. It's not just about let's put these people in their place and make them workable. It's about, okay, how can we change the whole conversation, right? The structures that we have, the mindsets that we have, right, to make everything workable, right? So that's what this show is about lah. We want to start a conversation. So I totally resonate with what you say lah. Starting these conversations, very very important in our world today. Okay, so we are actually at the end of the show already. So I just want to say thank you very much to Harith for
Thank you for
joining
having me.
us tonight. Yeah, I really enjoyed having you on. And well, probably I will want to ask you come back lah. Maybe we can continue on a different topic. All right.
Can.
Yeah. So let me just remind you again because I keep forgetting. If you love these conversations are valuable to you. Well, don't miss the Leaders Dojo. Join the Leaders Dojo live stream group on LinkedIn, where I will post reminders of upcoming shows so you don't miss one. And if you're on YouTube or Facebook, do click subscribe and share this conversation to your friend, right? We want to start these important conversations uh, about these important issues, right? And also the insights that we have from these conversations. Okay, so with that, I'm going to say, well, before we go and say good night, I want to just do a little preview about the upcoming show. Well, it's Tuesday, April 12th. The topic will be, is it essential to have a grand vision in business? Well, this is something a lot of people are talking about now, right? Harith also is here because he has a vision for his business. Um, but I think a lot of people are looking for a purpose, looking for a vision, either in their career, in their life, in their business. And there are a lot of leadership gurus out there who say that purpose and vision is really really important for a business. So the next topic on the show will be, is it essential to have a grand vision? I mean, is it, can't you start a business without a vision? Is it possible? Is it necessary? So who's going to be the guest? Keep posted and see who the surprise guest is going to be. But for tonight, again, thank you to Harith and thank you to everyone who joined. uh Chimin still here, my goodness, thank you so much. You are the greatest encouragement for me to keep going on, man. So with that, I just want to say good night and have a great evening.